for Around the Ozarks in 5, brought to you by the Butterfly Palace. Have the best day ever at the Butterfly Palace. Springfield Greene County Park Board, reminding you to go play. Roto-Rooter Plumbing and Drain Service. Call Southwest Missouri's best plumber today for a free estimate. Here are your hosts, Ethan and Sarah Foreheads.
Hey, good morning to you on Friday. Hope your week has been great. Glad we're toward the end of it here. And I'm sure you are as well. So we're going to have a good weekend, but we're going to get started this morning with some news. And
I do feel like this is by far the biggest story. It's certainly the biggest talker. It might not be the biggest story in a lot of people's minds, but right. Trader Joe's is not coming to Springfield, Missouri. It is breaking news in my book. I feel like it should be in yours because a lot of people thought that they were coming, but they're not. The news leader reached out to Trader Joe's asking about rumors that it was going to be coming to Springfield, and they were told, yes, we are. But the problem is there are lots of Springfields, and they are coming to a Springfield, but not our Springfield. As it turns out, they're moving to Virginia, not Missouri. Whoops. Anyway, so Trader Joe's saw the story, I guess, followed up with an email saying, oh, by the way, we mean Springfield, Virginia, not Missouri. But the news leader's story had already been shared everywhere. So even though they updated the story, it had already been shared. People had already gotten very excited for no good reason.
Yeah, I feel for the news leader here because they did their job. They called the spokesperson and or at least got an email from them. I think they got an email from them. And there's a little bit of back and forth between Trader Joe's saying that they didn't know that that the news leader was talking about Springfield, Missouri. The news leader says that we made it clear that we're in Missouri. And so I don't know. I mean, if a spokesperson tells you something, that's what you go on if you're a news organization.
Yeah.
So
I feel bad for them too, honestly. I feel like it's
unfortunate.
It was an honest mistake.
Well, and
but here's, you know what? I think honestly, there were so many people who got really excited about it that maybe it would make Trader Joe's actually consider moving here. It could work in the Ozarks' favor.
Right. I was going to say it's unfortunate for the news leader that it turned out to be such a story that people had an interest in and were hoping for. It'd be like I would have shared if it were White Castle coming. I would have shared that story. Trader Joe's, not so much. I've been to Trader Joe's. It's fine. I don't know. I'll be honest with you. And I don't know. Maybe the Trader Joe's people don't watch this podcast. I imagine they probably do. At any rate, I don't know that we could support it, to be honest.
I'm sure that they do. I'm sure they do.
I don't know that we can support it. We've had a couple of those natural marketplaces fail. Price Cutter very famously had a big one on what is that? Sunshine? Yeah. Sunshine. That failed. Ruby's. We had another one that also failed. Now there's a new one in that place on Glenstone, South Glenstone. But I don't know. I don't know if we could.
Trader Joe's would work if they would sit it right next door to either Sam's or Costco.
Well, that's expensive space, but Trader Joe's has money.
Yipper skipper.
Anyway. Okay, we'll see. It ain't happening.
I felt like that was like the breaking news of the day. There you go. This is also a big deal. It is now official. Missouri State Senator Lincoln Huff from Springfield is running for lieutenant governor. The Republican had been considering it for the last several weeks. He was first elected to the Missouri House of Representatives in 2010. Then, you'll remember, became a Greene County commissioner, then won a seat in the Senate in 2018. And during his time in the legislature, he sponsored the largest tax cut in Missouri history.
Okay. Well, thank him for that. A bill in the Missouri legislature, meanwhile, could change the way that Missouri's constitution is amended. Right now, it can be changed if a majority of voters agree to it. This change would add to that a majority vote in 5 of the state's 8 congressional districts as well. So it'd be the vote of the people and 5 of 8 congressional districts saying yes. The bill has already passed the state Senate, heads over to the Missouri House now. And if the House approves it, then it goes to voters to decide on. So that could happen this fall, which would be a really big election. It's a presidential election. So there'd be huge turnout for that. And of course, we know this is really an epidemic. Many people have overdosed on drugs here in the Ozarks and really across the country, but we're talking about Missouri here, oftentimes on fentanyl. Now, lawmakers in Jefferson City are considering making tougher penalties on those who traffic fentanyl and lowering the amount that someone could have for it to be considered a felony offense. The law states that a person who, quote, distributes, delivers, manufactures, or produces more than 10 milligrams of fentanyl, end quote, has committed a first-degree Class B felony under the new law. More than 20 milligrams would make it a Class A felony. A new proposed bill would change the threshold from 10 milligrams to as little as 3 for it to be a felony, which 3 milligrams of that stuff could take out a lot of people.
Yeah, that's more than enough to kill someone. So
a lot of people. Yeah,
yes.
There's a new study that finds 42% of adults, 42% of adults in America know at least one person who has died from a drug overdose.
Yeah.
That is incredibly sad.
It is. So we'll see. I'm sure that will happen. I bet that it happens.
Yeah. I mean, well, why not is my question. Right. Why not? What are people doing with fentanyl?
All right. Now to this. Many of us remember our very broke college days where you lived on ramen noodles. I mean, it was a thing. It was a real thing. I did. And it was tasty. A new study, though, says more students right now, college students, are falling into food insecurity. 45% of college kids reporting they have experienced it. Missouri State says, yep, they have a food pantry. They are working to keep up with demand. The numbers are pretty astounding. They opened in 2019 with helping 500 times on campus. Last year, the food pantry at MSU was used 8,900 times. And so far this year, they're at 4,200 times. That's pretty wild. Because think about that. We're only in February.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
It'd be interesting to know if there are any financial checks, or can anybody just go in there and get food? You know,
I don't know.
I don't know how that works.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't either. Yeah. I worked at a restaurant all 4 years of college, so I got to eat their food quite regularly.
Well, and you were on a meal plan at the school.
Yeah, I was on a meal plan at the school also, but I don't know. Waitressing was a good college job for me. All right. You know that it is tax season, unfortunately. And if you need help with that, the IRS says they are here to help you. So tomorrow, Saturday, you can head over to the Taxpayer Assistance Center on Claremont Avenue here in Springfield from 9 to 4. No appointment necessary. You should know this. IRS workers there cannot file your tax return for you. They can answer your questions. So take with you all your paperwork and your ID.
Okay. That reminds me, it's time to do our taxes, isn't it? I feel like we're still getting stuff in the mail, though.
I know.
Don't you?
I do too. Yeah.
At what point am I?
We are.
It's still February, so we can wait till.
It's because I feel like I have 97 jobs.
We can wait till March.
So we keep getting, yeah. Anyway. All right.
Yeah. Travis Kelce, Taylor's boyfriend, as you guys know. He is apparently a big deal now. He won the People's Choice Award.
He's a big deal now. Now he's a big deal.
Well, yeah.
He's been a big deal for a little while.
He's been a big deal in Kansas City. Now he's a big deal across the country because of Tay-Tay. At any rate, Garth Brooks, did you see? You were gone for what happened. Well, I mean, there was good and bad that happened at the Chiefs victory parade. Obviously, you heard about the shooting. Which
I
was
did hear
awful.
about that. That was on international news. So I saw
that was
the headlines. Yeah,
horrific. But before that, the Chiefs were celebrating, and Kelce got on the microphone and probably had a little to drink. It seemed like
little liquid courage.
Yeah, but he he tried to sing "Friends in Low Places" in front of 1 million people, and did not do a good job. Didn't know the words, slurred his words. Finally, they took the mic away.
Didn't know the words.
He didn't know. Well, he was trying to do a verse and he got all confused. He was.
I've lost all respect for the man. Who doesn't know the song? Come on.
He was lit up, so that played a factor. Anyway, I thought that was embarrassing, honestly, to watch.
Just said lit up.
Public drunkenness. I'm not a fan of.
It's called intox. Public intox.
I'm not a fan of it. Anyway, so he did that, and apparently Garth Brooks saw that because the world saw it, and Garth Brooks has now invited him to the opening of Garth's new bar. Basically, it's called Friends in Low Places Bar and Honky Tonk, and on his Inside Studio G show. So he's invited Travis to come attempt to sing it there, maybe with a little less alcohol, to see if they can pull it off.
You should practice the words, practice the lyrics.
That bar, well, he'll probably have a teleprompter for that big event. The bar opens on March 7th, which is coming up. So Travis, I don't know if Travis is going to show up for that or not. I imagine he will.
I mean, come on. If Garth extends to you an invitation, you show up.
I think you're going to be there.
It's Garth. He's the only superstar other than Oprah who's on a first name basis. Okay, and Cher and Bono, but that's about it.
It's Garth's bar, so there's probably free drinks.
Yeah.
So that should be enticing for Kelsey.
Yeah. I know where Garth used to frequent. So.
Well, yeah, in Stillwater, he played. It was
at the Tumbleweed, at the Wormy Dog. At George's Stables. Eskimo Joe's, probably, I assume.
What's the street in Stillwater where all those bars are?
Perkins.
Yeah. Sarah used to go to Oklahoma State. Garth, of course, went to Oklahoma State. That's where he started playing in bars. And Sarah has probably been more than once.
There is a tree.
To those very bars.
There was a tree that said, Garth loves Sandy.
Oh.
And it's still there. The tree and the carving is still there. So anyway, he doesn't love Sandy anymore.
He probably has a different kind of love for her now. She's the mother of his children.
Yes. All right. It is not too late to get your dancing shoes on. Speaking of children, tomorrow, Saturday, the Park Board is hosting a daddy-daughter dance. It's from 6 to 9. You can enjoy a catered dinner and music and dancing and special surprises for girls and their dad or stepdad or uncle, father figure, brother, whoever you want to take. Ages 3 years and up, $40 per couple, $15 for each additional girl. You can get registered right now at parkboard.org/events.
Good for the Park Board.
We love the Park Board. I know they're one of our sponsors. Plus, even before they were our sponsor, I'm just a fan of the Park Board.
We got married in a park.
And then everybody else followed us. Just so you know, we were the first. They didn't even have bathrooms out there yet.
It was funny. Last night, I was talking with our oldest, who's now 14, Caroline, about going to daddy-daughter dances when she was little, and she still remembers those.
Yeah, and you took Ainsley too, and you cried. I don't think either of them cried, but you certainly did.
Why would they cry? Yeah. I cried because I saw my future and how much those weddings are going to cost me. No, I cried.
I have their husbands picked out. Does that count?
Oh man, I got to show you this. This Instagram reel that popped up the other day.
Yeah.
It was this song this guy sang. He was this unassuming guy, stepped up in front of the camera and started singing this song about his daughter getting married. And I was a puddle. And then I showed it to somebody at work.
You're the sweetest.
I showed it to somebody at work and I was crying at work. It's going to be terrible.
It's going to be terrible. Jesus is coming back before that. Don't worry.
Thank you to the Park Board for doing that. I think it's awesome. You'll make a lot of dads and their girls will make some really cool memories.
Yeah. And you'll cry like Ethan and your girl will look at you and be like, "What's wrong, Dad?"
You're embarrassing me.
Yeah. All right. And then finally, this weekend is also the Springfield Reptile Expo, Saturday and Sunday at the Ozark Empire Fairgrounds from 9 to 3:30. Organizers say, quote, "It's an exhilarating adventure into the world of scales, tails, and extraordinary creatures at the Show Me Reptile Show." Should be a good time. That is not my cup of tea, but they do have some super cool exhibits. So head out to the fairgrounds and enjoy it.
I'll have to take their word for it.
I know. I will too.
Snakes
I mean,
creep me
they
out.
are caged, so there's that.
I can't do it. I bet some are out of cages around people's necks.
Yeah.
That drives me insane.
Yep.
There's also the bull riding is out at the Ozark Empire Fairgrounds tonight and tomorrow as well.
Yeah.
So that'll be super cool to watch the bull riders up close and personal in the new arena out there at the fairgrounds.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yep.
All right. Well, that's it, folks. We'll see you. Yeah. Sorry I look like this. This is called jet lag. I'm so tired. I was wide awake though at 3:00 in the morning. I was wide awake. I was raring and ready to go.
Then now you're tired 2 hours later?
Yes, I know.
Okay.
It's just
okay. Well, you go back to bed.
To go back to bed. I'm going.
I gotta go to work. You gotta go to work too. All right. Have a great weekend. We will see you back here bright and early on Monday.
Bye.
Bye.
It's time for Around the Ozarks Wake Up Weather, sponsored by Scooters Coffee and Rescue Towing. Here's your host, meteorologist Abby Dyer.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to your Friday. We made it, and the weather has been pretty nice for us overall this week. We are talking about really nice conditions setting up as we gear up to head into the new weekend too. So good news all around. Nice way to end the work week with a nice weekend forecast ahead. You're going to notice a little bit of a cool down in the forecast today. Of course, that cold front came through on Thursday, allowing for some cooler, dry air to build into the Ozarks. So while we may experience a bit of a cool down today, it's not going to be cold. 60 degrees, my high temperature forecast on this Friday afternoon. And we are starting the day as of 5 a.m. in the upper 30s, above freezing though. And it's going to overall be a pretty nice afternoon if you want to head outdoors. Sunshine in the forecast, and I have us remaining rain-free in the forecast through much of the weekend. An elevated fire risk though does continue. So I have to mention that because it could pose hazards to us, not just today, but also Saturday and Sunday, particularly next week. Looks warm and windy, especially as we start off the new work week. I'll talk more about those potential record highs in just a minute. Focus on the fire danger for a moment too. This is going to happen every single afternoon, starting today, lasting all the way through Tuesday of next week. If you have any burning to do, it's really just not a great choice of time. Elevated fire risk for our area. It's going to occur for portions of southeastern Kansas, as well as us here in the Ozarks as well. This elevated fire danger may occur again on much of the area this afternoon and then Sunday through Tuesday, especially for the grasslands. This means that fires can take off very quickly, spread rapidly. So outside burning is heavily discouraged, not just today, but all through the weekend and even the beginning of next week. Avoid parking on dry grass and check for trailers, dragging chains. Anything that could spark a flame is very dangerous in these types of conditions. It is going to be incredibly warm. I mean, we are going to be talking about springtime by early next week, nearly 25 degrees above normal next week. It's going to be pretty incredible. In fact, record high temperatures are in the upper 70s, and the forecast is to break it. We could be pushing 80 by next Tuesday. The forecast is for 78 degrees. And of course, this time of the year, there's always a trade-off for the warmth. It comes in the form of wind or storms, and I think we're going to see a bit of both of that by next Tuesday night into early Wednesday. I'm forecasting for some stronger thunderstorms, so it's something to keep an eye on. Definitely the 78 will feel nice on Tuesday. We could see records fall in other places across the Ozarks too, but it could come with a bit of a trade-off in the form of storms. I do have rain chances that arrive again by Tuesday night into Wednesday of next week, and we'll have to watch for the potential of strong storms with some of those. High temperature today in Springfield, 60. I think we're at 60 with sunshine on Saturday also. By Sunday, we're back into the 70s. I have 71 for the forecasted high in Springfield. By Monday, we're going to see numbers climb into the mid and upper 70s, and we'll be pushing 80 degrees. I think we get to the low 80s in northern Arkansas. Storm chances will return late Tuesday night into early Wednesday. I told you yesterday about the potential for some strong storms by the middle of the week, and I think that this is still on track for somewhere in the Midwest. Could get some pretty powerful thunderstorms by Wednesday. Around the country, what's making headlines, not just elevated fire risks for us here in the Ozarks, but we also have fire weather conditions for much of the southwestern United States due to very gusty winds and dry conditions. And then we've got this impactful storm system on deck for the middle of next week. It's the same one I was just talking about that could impact the Ozarks. A whole lot of the country is talking about this very powerful trough that will be moving through. Right now, it's a bit too early to start outlining who's going to get severe weather exactly, but that may come into a bit more of a clear picture over the weekend. So definitely we'll be watching that on Around the Ozarks Wake Up Weather here and have an update for you on Monday morning about those powerful storms set to take place somewhere in the Midwest by the middle of next week. All right, it's time for the Around the Ozarks Wake Up Weather Brain Twister question today. I will wrap up some of the presidential questions, but it's been kind of a fun week doing those. This U.S. president is the first and only independent candidate ever elected to office. Do you think it was A, George Washington, B, John Adams, C, Thomas Jefferson, or D, James Madison? The answer was A, George Washington. Congrats if that was your pick over at aroundtheozarks.com. Indeed, George Washington is the only person unanimously elected to the presidential office and the only independent candidate elected as U.S. president. So if A was your choice, all correct answers are entered to win a $20 gift card to Scooter's Coffee. We give that away every single day here on Around the Ozarks Wake Up Weather. All right, here's your question that I'll have the answer for you on Monday. What toy was inducted into the U.S. National Toy Hall of Fame in 2008? Do you think it was A, a basketball, B, a slinky, C, an easy bake oven, or D, a stick? Which one of those do you think made it in 2008? So think about what time the toys were popular. What do you think was so popular that it made it into the Hall of Fame in 2008? Let me know your guess. You can do that at aroundtheozarks.com. I hope everyone has a fantastic weekend and find some time to get outside today or Saturday or Sunday. Lots of choices for you this week. It's going to be a great weekend in the Ozarks, and we'll chat again on Monday morning. I'll have the answer to this brain twister trivia question and an update on severe weather chances for next week.